This video has been highly requested. And when I mean highly requested, I mean too many people asked me to do this. And my initial response to this was, I'll pass. Like, it was a hard pass for me. And I'll explain why. Yesterday was my son's birthday, and he turned 4. And I was sitting on the couch when a good friend of mine, who is a videographer that I've known for 2 decades, he hit me up and said, just flat out, Kevin Samuels passed away. Right? He hit me up on Facebook and he said it. And immediately, without me having to Google it, without me having to do anything outside of say, oh my God, I knew it was true. And let me explain why I knew it was true. A week or so ago was my latest video about Kevin Samuels, I think. And he was talking about how women over 35 are leftovers. And I was doing a response to that. Now, for the past couple of months, I've been dying down on how often I talk about Kevin Samuels, because I did not like how his audience would flood my comment sections on Twitter, on YouTube. It was just pointless talking to a whole bunch of men trying to get them to understand a woman's perspective. Because men don't care about a woman's perspective. They want women, but they don't care about what women think or feel. But they want women to care about what they think or feel. So inside of that video, I was just expressing how I felt about someone being over 50 talking about how women over 35 are leftovers, but what would that make him, basically. So yesterday, May 5th, my son's birthday. Earlier that day, I was sitting in the parking lot at the Safeway. And my daughter was in the Safeway, and I was trying to figure out what was taking her so long to come back out. And I remember I had half a cup of coffee and I was drinking a Red Bull. Now, I did not know that Kevin Samuels was a heavy Red Bull drinker until one day I was doing a podcast. And inside of the podcast, I had my infamous wine glass that I don't drink wine out of. I drink juice out of it, water out of it, and Red Bull out of it. And inside of the podcast, I was drinking out of the wine glass and I was pouring Red Bull into the glass. And someone came into my comment section and said, "You trying so hard to be like Kevin Samuels." And I was like, how am I trying to be like Kevin Samuels just drinking some damn Red Bull? I don't get that. And they went on to explain to me that he always drank it. And so I was like, I'm never going to drink a Red Bull in a podcast ever again, because I don't want anybody to feel like I'm trying to jack somebody's swag. If that's his thing, that's not my thing. So it's easy for me to let go, right? So I never drunk it on camera again. And this was like 6 months ago. So ever since then, I've been trying to stop. But it's difficult because I only get 3 hours of sleep a day. So yesterday, right? Even though Red Bulls and coffee give me headaches, they give me severe headaches, and I already get migraines like crazy. I get some terrible ass migraines. I was sitting in the parking lot and I had a half a cup of coffee and I had a half of one of those big Red Bulls, but it was peach flavor because that's my favorite flavor, peach flavor. And suddenly, right, I had this feeling like something was off. I couldn't put my finger on it. I just had a bad feeling. And it stopped me. And I was just stiff. You know what I mean? And I just sat there for a moment. And I was like, this feeling I'm having, I didn't know whether it was anxiety. I didn't know what I was thinking. You know, I didn't know what possessed me to feel what I was feeling, right? But I knew something was wrong. I kept saying something feels wrong. Like today, something's going to go left. And anytime I feel that, I know something is going to go wrong. Now, mind you, in this last video I did about Kevin Samuels a week or so ago, I was inside of the video and I said, I'm so sick. I've had about enough of Kevin Samuels. And I said it in the beginning of the video. I was like, I'm so done. But for the past couple of weeks, I'm not even going to say weeks. For the past couple of months, the last 3 months, I kept getting this feeling like whatever was happening with him was about to be over. But I kept saying his 15 minutes are about to be over. Something is about to be done with him. His career is about to end. Something is about to end with this dude. And I kept thinking this over and over. And I was like, why? How come every time I think about this man, I think that? And even when I was hearing reports of people saying his subscribers was growing, I heard a woman say he was going to 2 million followers on Instagram. I heard that his channel was getting bigger, and men would come into my comments and say, you only get 300 views or 500 views on your videos. Kevin Samuels has way more views than you. You punching up, you've been doing it longer than him. You just mad he got successful faster than you did. You just wish you was on his level. And I kept trying to explain to people, I'm not trying to be on his level. I'm trying to be where I am. I accept where I am. I've gone viral plenty of times on YouTube. I've gone viral plenty of times on TikTok. Going viral or getting people's attention isn't really what I'm doing with my channel. And I don't like to do a lot of content that gets views. A lot of people do content to get views. I don't. I speak from my heart. So even if I do a video and it only gets 20 views, I'm okay with that because the message was for who it was for. I wasn't trying to get everybody to watch it. I just wanted whoever needed to hear it, right? So I'm not upset at the fact that I was a dating coach before Kevin Samuels was. But you have to understand, I'm not competing with any man. And I feel like a lot of times when men come in my comment section, they always want me to compete. They kept saying, why don't you go into Kevin Samuels' show with that smoke? Things like that. And I'm like, my opinion about Kevin Samuels is not me competing with him. It's me trying to get men who follow him to understand the significance of what he's saying and how it's affecting our community, right? I just feel like anytime two people have a difference in opinion on this platform, and they happen to not share the same gender, people want it to be beef between the two of these people, right? So I feel like people just wanted me to go on to Kevin Samuels' platform, which is a very toxic environment for women, and they wanted to see him humiliate me. Just like when men kept begging me to go on Tommy's platform. They wanted to see me be humiliated on there. And of course, a lot of men inside of the Black manosphere have asked me to come onto their channels. I remember when I first found out who Kevin Samuels was, it was through Minister Jab. And during that time, in 2016, 2017, me and Minister Jab was not getting along at all. Now we're irrelevant to each other, but we were not getting along at all. To me, when you collaborate with someone on YouTube the way he and I did, there's supposed to be a level of professional, respect for one another. And he didn't have that for me because I was a woman. And because of me rejecting his romantic advances. And I think there was a time where he and I was trying to be more than just two people doing content creation. We was just trying to take it to another level as far as dating or, interacting beyond that. And we didn't quite make it to that because I found out the kind of content that he was doing and it just didn't match my brand. It wasn't something that I needed to continue to like interact with. And my collaboration with Minister Jap is one of the biggest regrets I ever had. And I don't do a lot of regret. You know what I mean? Like, I don't regret a lot of things that I do or a lot of choices that I made. But I felt like I spent a lot of my time on YouTube trying to support Black men and support the businesses and channels of a lot of Black men, even if we disagreed about certain topics or, you know, certain ideologies. And with Minister Jap, when I found out that his entire platform was about dragging single mothers, I couldn't interact with him anymore. And by me pulling away from him, it hurt him, frustrated him, made him angry. I'm not even going to say made him angry, because I feel like with men, people tend to assign a meaning to your emotions as violent or negative or angry, when really a lot of y'all are just hurt, you know, or frustrated, or, you know what I'm saying? And I think with Jab, he was just hurt. And so he was like just angry with me, and then he went on this smear campaign for years to try to destroy my reputation and call me all of these terrible things, call me a hoe, and like I'd slept with him or something, you know, just being like really cruel. And by him doing this, it also added fuel to a fire, because Tommy was also doing it, and Jap wanted to be like Tommy, and, you know, Tommy was doing it, so Jap did it. And then in the midst of all of this, in comes Kevin Samuels. And I don't have an issue with Kevin Samuels, you know what I mean? I just am not feeling that he is on the same agenda as Minister Jap and Tommy and everybody else that's in the Black manosphere, grouping women into this one thing, like we're all the same. And I don't even like when women do that to men, because I don't feel like all men are monolithic. I feel like they're good men and they're bad men. I feel like they're dusties and then there's exceptional men, you know? And so I feel like I was just dealing with a lot of hood shit when I get onto YouTube, and it's a lot of dusties on here. And so instead of me continuing to be a dating coach on here with this environment being so toxic for women, I was just like starting to pull away. And so in 2016, when I was introduced to who Kevin Samuels was, I wasn't impressed by him then. I didn't like his message then. He was saying something valuable to men, but his material wasn't designed for me. So I wasn't supposed to be watching him to begin with, right? So as a woman, I'm not supposed to like his content. His content wasn't for me. It wasn't designed for me. Initially, he was talking to men. Right? He was telling men what they needed to do, telling men that they needed to get their finances together. You know, the things that he was supposed to be telling men. You know, things men are supposed to be telling men. And I don't think anyone was taking him serious. You know, just the way that a lot of people wasn't taking me serious when I was giving men relationship advice and telling men basically the same shit. Okay? Then he started talking about women. Okay? And I didn't hear that he started talking about women until sometime last year, when his clip went viral on World Star Hip Hop, where he was telling this beautiful young lady who was an entrepreneur, who had a business, who was successful, that she was going to die alone. And that's when I started to see him a year ago. I started to see his material more often, because, of course, that specific clip of him telling a woman she was going to die alone was in fact what catapulted him. And so I just started seeing him everywhere. And then it got so bad that every time he opened his mouth, not only was he saying things that he believed to be true, but he was saying things that was so hurtful and so degrading and so disrespectful towards women. And what made it so hurtful was that it was the truth in the minds of men like him. Not a high value man. Not a man of quality, but a man who is hurt over the poor choices in women he's made, or because his mother or sister wasn't there, or because he didn't have a decent father figure, so he doesn't know really too much about manhood to begin with. And yeah, I had a level of compassion for that type of man, because I have a son. You know, like, my son doesn't have his father, you know, and I don't want to be the single mother that raises her son to end up becoming one of these men who is so disrespectful and actually despises women and is filled with so much misogyny, and it's so chauvinistic. I don't want to raise my son to be that. I don't want to raise my son to be like the men who would stalk me and harass me every day on this platform. The men who came together and created this fake ass rumor about me committing suicide after they sent me hundreds of thousands of damn texts and emails telling me to kill myself. I begged his father to stay around because I didn't want my son to grow up where I was like this bad mother raising him alone. And to know that Minister Jap and men inside of the Black manosphere are part of the reason why my son's father doesn't take care of his son. That hurt me deeply, especially with me being so supportive of men for such a long time. So I'm seeing Kevin Samuels being successful. And of course, this perpetuates the truth about men, Black men becoming successful only when they drag Black women, only when Black women start putting energy into their content. Because it's Black men who will get onto platforms and they won't nearly be as successful until they get the attention of Black women. Because Kevin Samuels would not be as popular as he was if he didn't get the attention of Black women and Black women didn't start talking more about his content. It's the same thing with the dynamic between me and Minister Jap. Minister Jap would have no level of success had he and I not collaborated, had I not opened up my own platform to him. He ended up stabbing me in the back and getting majority of my audience to turn on me. So that's why I regret dealing with him. But his story is identical to a Kevin Samuels story, because if it wasn't for a Black woman paying attention to him, trying to nurture his career, or like supporting his content or encouraging him to do better or to do more. Like the women who called into Kevin Samuels' show, had these women not believed in his advice or his wisdom and called in and asked him what he felt like they should do, there would be no popularity really as far as Kevin Samuels goes. He would have still been on YouTube pushing those basic numbers. Okay? And so now, when people look at my channel and I'm getting like under 2,000 views, and that never used to be my channel, people tend to think anytime I mention Kevin Samuels' name, it's because I'm trying to get views. Because when Kevin Samuels is talked about on my channel, because so many of you watch him, you come to my channel and watch me talk about him, regardless to what I'm saying. You want to hear me talk about him. Listen, if I could get on my platform and talk about what I want to and get the thousands of views or 1 million views on a video, I would do that. But the days of old YouTube are over. It's a new day with YouTube. You have to talk about what's trending in order to get views on here. And that's sad to me, because I'm not that type of content creator. I don't follow behind every single topic. And because I took such a huge break from YouTube because of the toxic environment in the Black sector of YouTube, where I'm being consistently harassed by the Black manosphere because I'm a Black woman, because of some rumor some guy made up because he was upset I rejected him. Then, it's like my son's father got on here and didn't help either. So it's just like being on this platform is not as lucrative as it was previously. So I'm not on here a lot. So when I do get on here and I do talk about Kevin Samuels, in the past, it's never been because I was trying to get clout or I was a content creator trying to get views and clickbait. That wasn't it. But for some reason, I knew this was coming for him, because I kept saying in my mind, like, there are karmic forces working here. This is a spiritual thing. And today I got the confirmation again, because his passing wasn't just a confirmation that what I've been feeling in the past couple of months is true. And I've been saying this in my Kevin Samuels videos. If you look at on my channel, I have a playlist of Kevin Samuels stuff. I went to Cynthia G's channel, and I don't usually listen to Cynthia G. Like, people try to compare me to Cynthia G all the time, and I can't stand it because me and her are not the same type of person. You know what I mean? But I went and listened to her video today about Kevin Samuels, and I agreed with her talking about a reckoning, a spiritual reckoning. And my thing is, this is what I've been feeling with Kevin Samuels, because I've been thinking, like, there's going to be some karmic force that's going to come back on him for all of the stuff that he's saying and doing. And I just had this feeling for the past couple of months that it was about to be over for him. Did I know he was going to pass? No. But I had a feeling, I don't want to make this video about him, because honestly, this video isn't about him. It's about really the things surrounding him, the things I've heard about him and his passing, the alleged story as far as the woman he chose Wednesday night to take back to his apartment. When I saw this woman, right, and I thought to myself, initially I thought she was black, just a light-skinned black chick. Then I saw that, oh, this is a Mexican chick, or a Latina chick, or a Dominican chick. And then she's plus size. And I was thinking, so it's okay for her to be plus size as long as she's not a black woman. Like, I did a video about him telling men to stop sleeping with plus size women. He told men to stop sleeping with plus size women. And here he is meeting a plus size woman and taking her back to his place. First night he meets her. You know how dangerous that is? I say this to women all the time. Do not go back to a dude's house you just met. Don't do that. Fellas, don't bring no chick you just met back to your house, because you never know. Like, this whole situation seems like a mystery to me, that suddenly he just had like cardiac arrest. To me, it's a mystery. It could be Viagra. It could be Red Bull. But at the same time, you never know if she could have done something to him. Because stuff like that happens. Didn't that just happen to the Lauren Smith Fields chick? It's a mystery what happened to her as well. So my thing is, you can't just take people back to your place. And I'm surprised someone who claims to be a relationship guru or some type of relationship person, advice person, would take a woman he met just randomly, take her back to his place, being as though he is as successful as he is, or he's quote unquote high value man. You guys have got to be more selective about the women that you choose to invite into your home, into your bedroom, into your life in general. The more valuable he was becoming, the more successful he was becoming, that meant he needed to be more selective. And let me just say this, I am it is very disappointing that he didn't get to experience his success a little bit longer. Okay? Because he didn't get to experience his fame and popularity and celebrity long at all. And that's so unfortunate, because he worked really hard. He worked really hard and ended up basically losing his entire life. And, oh my God, all the stuff that he worked on just to get some. Because from what I'm understanding, cardiac arrest was because of intercourse. That's just what I'm seeing on the reports. I don't know how true that is, but him going into cardiac arrest on top of a woman he shouldn't even have been dealing with to begin with, because he was 25 years older than her. And I always say to people that he has this vibe about him that is questionable, it's dubious, because no man should feel comfortable with being with any woman he is 20 years older than. How are you on the same level with this woman? I remember a man come into my comment section and he said, so you wouldn't let Kevin Samuels hit? And I said, why would I let a man hit who has to take Viagra or Red Bull to even be able to keep up with me? He's 15 years older than me. Why would I want to interact with a man that significantly older than me? Why would I want that for myself? Why would any woman want that for herself? And I think a lot of women put themselves in a position to be in a transactional position. That's why people are on YouTube right now calling this beautiful woman a hooker. Not because she was actually one, because I don't think she was actually one. I think she was a nurse. From what I'm seeing, she was a nurse. So she wasn't just some random hooker. She was a nurse he met, and he took her home. And I think she saw stars in her eyes or money or whatever, and wanted to kick it with him. Now, I'm not going to get deep into this man's personal life because really that's not my business. But what I want people to understand is that when women like me have expressed our opinions about stuff that he has said in the past, it's not, oh, a hit dog will holler type of shit. It's not, oh, you mad because he telling the truth. No. Think about how many times you got mad at somebody saying something about you. Half the time, or even 80% of the time, it had to do with the fact that they was telling a lie. It isn't always about, oh, hit dog, a holler, he telling the truth. No, it's just, I feel like Kevin Samuels preached a lot of limitation. He chose the lifestyle he lived, and it's unfair that people are expecting black women to not respond how they're responding. It's people out there celebrating. It's black women out there celebrating. It's black women out there with some jokes, man. But don't you think that some of them who were hurt by things that he said deserve to respond how they choose to? Now, I'm the type of woman, I tell women all the time, if you don't have anything nice to say, just gracefully stay silent. Because that was my intention. I had no intention on saying anything about Kevin Samuels because I feel like it's just, I feel neutral. I'm not hurt about it and I'm not happy about it. What I am thinking about is his family. What hurt me really was that he passed away on my son's birthday. And as a mother, I couldn't imagine what it would be like to see my son die before me, because that's not the order of operations. And Kevin Samuels' mother found out he passed away on social media. Do you know how much pain this woman is in about losing her son? I don't have to like Kevin Samuels. There's plenty of other people that did. And those are the people who are innocent that I have a level of respect for. Do I think a man deserves to die because we have a difference in opinion? No. But some people may feel like a man deserves to die if he's talking about little girls who claim that their stepfathers violated them sexually. Shouldn't be trusted. That's a problem for me because I was violated sexually. So when as a man, you say inappropriate things like that, you have to live with the consequences of saying those things and how people will treat you afterwards. He had to know that he was creating a legacy. He had to know that people were going to remember him for how he made them feel by what he was saying. Everybody want to try to act like words don't hurt them, when we know damn well they do. That's why people use them so much as weapons, as tools to hurt people. Because you know you can mentally affect someone, or you can speak something into existence by saying it. And so a lot of the things that Kevin Samuels said hurt people. Not because it was true, but because it was just flat out hurtful and disrespectful and degrading. Now, I'm not the type of woman that does a little tit for tat where I feel like, that's what you get. But as a black woman, I should have the right to feel like that with the things that he said about black women. But me, I'm a very kind person. Like, I have a soft heart. I'm very soft-hearted. I don't want to see anything bad happen to anybody. That's not cool. You know what I mean? Like, I disagree with dude. Yeah, he's a chauvinistic pig to me. Yeah, he might be on some pedo vibes or whatever I disagree with him about. But do I feel like he deserved to pass away? No. And that's another thing. When I think about how hurt Minister Jap could be about his situation with Kevin Samuels, let me talk about that for a second. I went on to Minister Jap's channel today because for some reason, from the first time I interacted with Minister Jap and me and him had a good rapport, I had a deep level of care for him. Just like any other, man I would collab with or work with or interact with. Like I had a deep care for Angry Man, or I had a deep care for Derek Jackson, or, at some point I cared about these men to a certain degree, professionally and friendship wise, because I wear my heart on my sleeve. I don't mean romantically. I do admit that I had a feeling for Jab romantically, right? But when I'm talking about men like Angry Man or Angel Ramirez or Obsidian or, men, anyone that I've interacted with on YouTube, right? I had this deep care for them to where I wanted them to succeed. Not that I wanted to share like intimacy or like sexuality with them or anything like that, but I wanted them to succeed. So I go onto Jap's channel and I see that he's talking about Kevin Samuels and how he wishes that the last conversation that he had with him wasn't what it was. And then I rewind back to a couple of weeks ago when I was on Minister Jap's channel again, and I think I was on his channel because I seen him talking about Mrs. Potato Head, and me and my daughter thought that was hilarious, by the way. Okay. But that's a whole nother thing. That's how I ended up on his channel like a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about how he's real solid with everybody he's interacted with, and I was like, that's not true. Because he had put it in his community tab. He was like, I'm real solid with everybody that I've been dealing with. And he was talking about, I think he was saying this because he is doing the angry church with Angry Man again. Right? So he said this on his community tab. And I'm thinking, that's not true. You haven't been solid with everybody that you dealt with. Because you definitely wasn't solid with me. And the situation between him and Kevin Samuels, I don't know how to accept it, but this is my perspective of what happened between Minister Jab and Kevin Samuels. From what I can recollect, okay? Because I try to stay out of the drama. I don't talk about it a lot. But this is what I think happened. So, Jab wanted to work with another content creator. I think his name is Marquette or Marquette, something like that. Jab wanted to work with this content creator, and Kevin Samuels and that specific content creator was beefing. So for Jab to show his loyalty to Kevin Samuels advised him as well to not work with this content creator. So Jab chose not to work with this content creator. And I think a couple of weeks later, or maybe a month later, Kevin Samuels was saw inside of some photos with that content creator. Okay. Then I think the same thing happened with Obsidian, because I think, if I can recall correctly, Jap was beefing with Obsidian. Now that's kind of strange to me as well, because I remember Obsidian reaching out to me multiple times, asking me to be on his channel and do an interview within the past year. And I think when I first came back from my 5-month hiatus when everybody thought I passed away, Obsidian kept hitting me up asking me to do an interview. And I kept thinking to myself, I'm not doing an interview with anybody but O'Shea. Because O'Shea, out of all of the people I've ever did a collaboration with, I think O'Shea, me and him may have had a slight beef over something that had to do with Cynthia G, but nothing as major as the issues I've had with every other male content creator on this platform. O'Shea is the only one who really just kept it kind of smooth. You know what I'm saying? It didn't bother because in the eyes of O'Shea, I think he kind of feels like to some degree we as content creators are like family a little bit. So it's easy to like forgive. And I'm the type of person I like to forgive as well. You know what I mean? I like to just chill. So I'm not really upset with O'Shea about anything. So I was like, if I ever do an interview, out of all these people that keep asking me to do an interview, all these black men in the black manosphere asking me to do an interview, the only person I would do one with is O'Shea. So when Obsidian kept coming to me asking me, I should have known maybe he has a motive. Because I was like, why does he keep asking me this? But, you know, when you have a common enemy, a lot of people like to cling together on YouTube when they have a common enemy. So because Minister Jap was having some type of issue with Obsidian, I think that may have been the reason why Obsidian was coming to me asking me to do an interview with him. Now that I think about it, you know, I could be wrong. I don't want to accuse Obsidian of things because, you know, at one point me and Obsidian was like so cool. Because honestly, I'm just a really chill ass person. You know what I mean? And I think just if you haven't really interacted with me in that type of way, you won't know that. I think me and O'Shea have been cool. Me and Obsidian have been cool. I was cool with Angry Man. Even when I said some things to Angry Man about his son, I apologize. But I mean, my heart still hurts with Angry Man, with Valdez. And I just never forgave Valdez for something that he promised me. He broke a promise that he made to me while I was pregnant with my son. So I'm still kind of tender about that. Like I'm really, I don't know. I just feel like these men was brothers. That's what I look at them as. Like they were my brothers. And even if they said something I disagreed with, I just disagreed. It wasn't like I hated them. It's like, I think you guys should talk about something a little bit more positive inside of the black community. I mean, inside of the black manosphere. I think I would like for y'all to say something more positive than just dragging women all the time. Because I think it's more beneficial for you guys to say something a little bit more positive. But I think maybe I communicated that a little harshly, I guess. You know what I mean? But I think the situation between me and Minister Jap kind of tore up a lot of the relationships I had with men on YouTube because Jap was like just really angry about us, you know, not working out. But what I do want to say about karma and why I brought up Minister Jap is because what really hurt me about Jap was he decided that he was going to plot my death, encourage men to kill me. He had a funeral on his channel making fun of me. He dressed up as a minister and had a casket on the green screen pretending, you know, I passed away because my channel, you know, trying to talk about my channel was dead. And it was so hurtful to see that a man felt comfortable with playing like that, playing with death like that. And because he did that, the domino effect, men were contacting me, telling me to kill myself, telling me they wished I was dead. And I think he doesn't understand, or he didn't understand at that time, that when you do stuff like that, when you talk like that, it can be real to other people. And sometimes as a content creator, you have the responsibility that I think a lot of men don't understand. A lot of male content creators who have podcasts and stuff. What I think y'all don't understand is that you have a responsibility as a content creator. When you have all these people following you, you have to understand that a lot of the people that are following you, some of them aren't mentally there. Some of them don't have the critical thinking skills that they need in order to process what you're saying. A lot of times they take something literally that they're not supposed to take literally. And to see Minister Jap not being delicate with that, and me having to defend myself against somebody that I used to support so much and be so kind to and be so nice to. And he tried to make it seem like I was like this villain or this hoe that did all of, fucked all of these dudes and did all of this terrible stuff to men. And for him to interview all of the guys that I used to date, or whatever guy he could find, that I used to date, and just to try to embarrass me and humiliate me on social media. And I'm sitting here just trying to defend myself against this dude. And anytime somebody's talking to me about his personal life, I'm refusing. I'm refusing to interview chicks who claim that they dated him. I'm refusing to spill the beans about the relatives that contacted me about him, because I feel like even though he is showing this behavior towards me, I'm a woman. I'm not trying to sit here and be combative with a man. I'm not trying to sit here and go to war with a man all the time. Like, that's not feminine to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like I have these masculine traits because I'm a little bit tomboyish, but when I'm dealing with men, I'm hella feminine. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking, yeah, I could pop off at the mouth at you, but to like physically fight you or really take it past YouTube and start, getting into your personal life and trying to destroy your family and stuff like that. When I saw that Minister Jap was doing that, I was like, this dude is really tripping. And then he proceeded to destroy my family with my son's father. And it's not just Minister Jap's fault. It's Priest's fault. My son's father allowed Jap to do it, And so when I think about the guilt associated with Jap and his feelings about how things ended with him and Kevin Samuels, that's karmic forces. You know what I mean? Like that's something you have to deal with as a result of your consequences. I mean, as a result, as consequences for things you've done and said. For example, when the rumor spread that I committed suicide, right? And instead of me getting online telling everybody that's not true, I just didn't say anything for 5 months because I was like done with everybody, right? The consequences for me doing that was me losing Mark, my best friend. Mark was my best friend for 12 years and he passed away in January. That's my karma for the suicide rumor spreading and me just allowing it to spread and not saying anything, because I was being selfish and I was so hurt and I was so done with everybody that I just wanted to be left alone. But instead of taking responsibility and saying, I'm alive, I just want to be left alone, instead of me just doing that, I just didn't say anything and allowed people to think I passed away. I just logged off, threw my phone out the window, and stayed away from the internet for 5 months. And that was irresponsible when you're a content creator or you are an influencer or people are following behind you. It's irresponsible. So karmic forces bring back to you what you do. So when we talking about Kevin Samuels and everyone's like, Black women shouldn't feel how they feel and yada, 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 whoop-de-doo, whatever. It's like, yes, they should. That's Kevin Samuels' karma. For Black women to be celebrating him passing away, that's his karma for the statements that he was making. He was making, like, whether the Black manosphere or the people that support him want to admit this or not, he was saying a lot of hurtful stuff. Some stuff he was saying was true, right? It was true to men who are unhinged. And it was hurtful for women to know that it was actually men out there with that thought process. Yeah, that thought process is true to you. Yeah, it's true to you because it's your thought process. But it doesn't mean it's a healthy thought process. It doesn't mean that it isn't hurtful. It doesn't mean that it isn't disrespectful. And it doesn't mean that you should be thinking that way. That's why I want people to understand, from my perspective, right? I don't celebrate him passing away. But some people have a different thought process than I do. I can't expect everybody to have the heart I do. I can't expect everybody to have the mind I do. Just like you guys can. That's why I don't feel how everybody else feels when they're upset with Kevin for saying what he's saying. Yeah, I was like, dude, logically what you saying don't make sense. But would I want him to pass away? No. But that's his karma. That's all I have to say. That's all I have to say. I mean, that's my true feelings about all of this. And I thought about it for a second because I was like, I really wasn't going to post nothing. Because I was like, I feel like as a woman, gracefully, if I don't have anything positive to say, I don't want to say it. And I don't know if what I'm going to say is going to hurt somebody or harm somebody. Because in the past, I've gotten on YouTube and just said whatever, not taking responsibility for the people who follow me and their feelings sometimes. Because like I said, whether people want to admit it or not, words hurt people. Whether you feel like it's truth or not. How you deliver a package can change somebody's life. Just how I helped people's lives and then some people are hurt. Kevin's the same way. He helped people and he hurt people. And karmic forces gave him the energy that he was putting out. That's what I want men to understand. Look at his life. And if you think he was taken too soon, please understand that he didn't have to go this soon. Had he used his energy properly and been a little bit more kinder, instead of telling black women they were going to die alone, he probably wouldn't have died alone himself. Now, again, I'm real kind with my words. You know what I mean? Like I'm very, like, any harshness I try to remove from my vocabulary. Like I've really been working on that, because the true person underneath all of this stuff that people be spreading like rumors and stuff, and maybe you heard me say something rough because I was defending myself. Underneath all of that is this really sweet lady. I'm a really kind-hearted person. And so, of course, I got to put on protective armor to protect myself. So I may have said some harsh things to people. And I may have done things in the past, like all of us. We all make these mistakes. And I try to tell people, when I log off the internet, when I log off YouTube, I log off Instagram, I log off TikTok, I'm a human being. I'm a human being before I'm anything else. As Kevin Samuels is a human being, Minister Jab is a human being, whoever you sit down and you watch all the time, they're a human being. Cynthia G, a human being. We all got feelings and thoughts and people that love us. Even if you don't, there is somebody else out there that love us. And it's about respecting those people. That's why I don't celebrate Kevin Samuels' death. Because I would hate to be his mother right now. And I think about my son. And me seeing my adult son pass away before me. And here I am still living. That pain, I wouldn't wish that on no mother. That's why I don't celebrate it. Because we all got loved ones and friends. And when we pass away, or when we are taken too soon, or if something bad happens to us, they hurt. And I have been in grief and felt bereavement. And I don't wish that. I don't wish that on no. I don't wish my tears on anybody. My pain I deal with. Some nights when I'm laying in bed and I'm thinking about, the people I don't get to see anymore. The people that died of COVID. I was talking about this a few weeks ago when I was talking about DJ K Slay. DJ K Slay and I used to be so close. We used to be so close, and we got into it over something stupid. And had a 10 to 15 year, just battle with each other for nothing. And when I think back at it, I was like, it wasn't even that serious. So really, as you mature, as you get older, and as I mature and I get older, I just be like, you know what? A lot of this stuff ain't even worth the negative energy. And at the end of the day, you get to choose how you respond. You get to choose. Like, nobody is making you angry. You are choosing anger as a response. Everyone that's making fun of Kevin Samuels passing away, they're choosing that response. Everyone who feels sad about Kevin Samuels passing away, they are choosing that response. And that's how I see life now. I have a deeper understanding of it. So I'm choosing to not mock this man or to be like, aha, that's what you get. But I do feel like it was inappropriate for him to say the things that he said in life about black women. And I know black men are going to be like, oh, he was just talking about all women. No, let's keep it a buck. He was talking about black women. We know we part of the black community. A lot of us, especially who are leaders, the ones who sit down and we have intellectual powwows and think pieces. We post think pieces all day long talking about all of these different controversies and stuff. We know damn well that black men a lot of black men love to see a black woman's features on a racially ambiguous woman. And that's the biggest problem with black men. You love your mama, but you would never make a woman like that your wife if you had money and success. You feel me? That's how men, like y'all will give these other races of women a pass for being overweight, for wearing weave, for wearing makeup, for wearing eyelashes, for having professions y'all don't want black women to have. This is a black woman's reality. And when we talk about it, black men get so upset. But this is what's happening to us. Black women don't want to suffer in silence anymore. They don't want to suffer in silence. And yeah, it's plenty of black women out here who would give black men the utmost respect if black men just gave us the basic things we be asking for. Instead of y'all trying to reduce us to household chores and childbearing. We have dreams. We have thoughts. We have things we want to do. We have choices. We want to make a decision. That doesn't mean we are competing with you as women simply because we want a career. We want money. We sick of living in poverty. Okay? That's my perspective of this entire thing. That's what's been on my heart. And I hope y'all hear me. I hope I conveyed what I thought properly. And I'm sorry if it wasn't entertaining enough or I had enough jokes or... Because to me, this is not funny. So, this is all you get from me. I appreciate you being here and I appreciate you spending time with me, though. Have vision and stay focused. Namaste.
Kevin Samuels passed away at 56 years old, and the reactions to his passing have varied. I wanted to share this. When people die, especially when they're public figures, we have to be honest about the legacy they leave behind. And we have to understand that the energy they put into the world, the way they live their lives, has consequences. People's reaction will always vary depending on their relationship to the person. So the moral outrage about people not mourning the death of Kevin Samuels is curious, because there wasn't a big moral outcry from these same people about his degradation of primarily black women. There was no concern for their families or their parents or the kids that supposedly made them low value. People laughed. They streamed and they supported and they helped him to monetize this harmful behavior. So Kevin Samuels regularly, publicly humiliated women by and large. As a man with a large following, millions across multiple platforms, he was a major contributor to a culture that normalized the devaluation of primarily black women. People were saying that he aimed to bring the black community or the black family together. Yet many are on the heels of his death as divided as ever. It's because what he was doing wasn't really bringing people together. Misogyny and hateful speech can't healthily contribute to building or uniting. Now we seem to be at the height of a time where single men make podcasts attacking so-called modern women. This is a part of his legacy. This isn't just about Kevin Samuels. He's one person. It is about the consequences of employing misogyny in service of patriarchy. How you're seeing people respond to his passing is the result of that. It is easy to tell people how to react when you weren't the victim of the violent language or message. And the fact is that death cannot absolve us of the consequences or the impact of the way that we live our lives. Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments and like and follow for more content.